The following poem is dedicated to Mr. Calvin Samuel. Mr. Samuel was the Director of Disaster Management in Anguilla and an active and passionate member of the Technical Advisory Committee of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. He leaves a rich legacy of diligence and commitment to advocacy for hazard resilience in our region. His energy and enthusiasm will be greatly missed. We hear it all the time. The tagline that is repeated so it resounds in our minds: the Caribbean is one of the most hazard-prone regions on Earth. And this has been said enough times for me to question what it is worth to some of the people who have heard these words, because while we in the Caribbean prepare for the worst and hope not to get badly hurt, there are some for whom these words are just words. But when natural hazards whisper, our ears are already attuned to hear disaster. We sit on the sidelines by radars and monitor the weather and pray that our early warning systems signal danger soon enough for it to matter. We wonder, can we hurry fast enough that a hurricane won't find us unprepared? Who will answer our prayers that earthquakes don't shake our homes to shape-shift from proud edifices to piles of bricks? Who will dry our eyes if the landslides cause the lives of our kin to slip through our fingers? Who do we turn to for answers? Resilience can be a tricky thing, especially when experience differs. Because though we in the Caribbean are effectually united, we are still in some ways geopolitically divided. So while we may be exposed to the same kinds of fates, the notion that we all have the same safety nets in place may be misguided. And it didn't take a pandemic for frontline states to realize that we bear the brunt of the weight of climate change, but COVID-19 certainly exacerbated the idea. And unlike the case of Floridians fleeing to other states to get away from the high winds and heavy rains of Hurricane Ian, for us in the Caribbean, there is no easy escape, nowhere nearby enough for us to evacuate. Remember, no two countries feel a storm the same way, which is to say that each territory will need slightly different aid. We cannot make the mistake of assuming everyone is accounted for, because disasters knock on our doors and they do not discriminate. So in the spirit of one Caribbean, let us be the first to say, we will take care of our neighbors come what may. We will offer what we can instead of making them wait for help from much further away. No one should be made to feel ashamed of the anatomy of their autonomy, like the black sheep of the family left out to pasture while the rest of us find shelter and safety. But we need to understand everyone's challenges more intimately. Imagine being told you're too wealthy to access development aid after a cyclone devastates your local economy. When you stare down the ruins and rubble, when you are in trouble and there seems to be nowhere to turn for any ease. Imagine when drought comes about to cast your crop harvest into a sea of doubt, or your house suddenly slips from its foundations into oblivion at a landslide's behest. How could you possibly find the best case scenario between food insecurity and having no home? How is it possible to protect those from low-income households? How can overseas countries and territories access aid within their specialized rules? Perhaps it starts with a conversation, a knowledge transaction, each side of the spectrum asking the right questions, the ones who can offer assistance facilities and the ones who so desperately need them. We all need to understand that when it comes to natural hazards, we are all dealt a similar hand. The similarity stops at what help each island can take advantage of because of the differences in governance. So how do we assure assistance in each unique circumstance? more than providing information about the existence of disaster risk insurance and funds. The sentence that can give us all assurance is this one: tell us what you need, and let us listen.